Right, is everyone sitting comfortably? Okay, so before we get started with Zaheer, I just forgot earlier to go through a couple of bits because I always get really excited when I'm up here and lots of stuff that I want to talk about. So hands up, has anyone got even the smallest little bit of debt at the moment? Yeah? Okay, alright, so who'd like a book that gives you an amazing system to get out of debt as quickly as possible? Alright, I'm just going to walk through, who's going to grab? Sorry, that was a little bit unfair, but I'm glad you got it. I'm glad you got it. Okay, so alright, so there's lots of new faces here tonight, so I kind of really want everyone to grasp what we're doing here with Escape the Rat Race, and that we're really creating like an amazing community. We've got a really strong online secret Facebook, so if you're not a member and you'd like to be chatting with everyone and loads of the others in the community every day on Facebook, sharing ideas, finding out about events, then just put a note on your form there. Please do fill out the form. That's really valuable information for me, that, and you know, it won't go anywhere else, and it's just for me to make the events better. So to recap, the start of the year we went through personal financial statements, plugging the leaks, we've been through e-commerce, we've talked about the Amazon business, which is a way to make money online. We've obviously had property presentations and a couple of guest speakers which we've got coming up, which I've just been lining up, which I just wanted to share with you, just so you know what's to look forward to. So we have a guy called Raj Dhanota. Now Raj was on The Apprentice Series 1, and since then he's gone on to become a hugely successful entrepreneur, angel investor, and he's going to come and speak to you all, tell you his story of how he began, what he's up to now, and if you've got any business ideas, this is the guy to speak to, because he's got money burning a hole in his pocket and he wants to invest in your ideas. So he's got a really, really great story. He doesn't mess around. He will get to the nitty-gritty about what it takes to become a successful entrepreneur. So Raj is coming up in October, actually. The October date is October 7th. I know that because that's my birthday, so we'll maybe have some cake for that date as well. Secondly, I've just been speaking to Julianne. So you can see there that Julianne has had loads of major success over the last couple of years, winning Young Entrepreneur Awards. She's the owner of Creative Nature Superfoods, and you can make a note, go online and read all about Julianne. But she, again, is a fantastic, motivating person who, as I said earlier, think of yourself as an entrepreneur, and you really must start thinking of yourself as that. Think of a company name. As Vicky said, get the business cards, you know. Create that professional image. When you're at an event like this, you need a story, you need that 20-second elevator pitch that we've done in previous meetups. So anyway, you'll learn lots of stuff from Raj and from Julianne over the coming months. So please keep coming and connecting. So anyway, we've talked about one way of making additional income through property tonight, through Vicky, and appreciate that. And we're now going to listen to Zaheer. Now, as I said earlier, I met Zaheer last year in February. It seems like I've known you for years. Very good friend now, superb mentor to me, and you've helped me make money through trading, and that's something that no other person has done since 2006. I've spent money with education companies, learning to trade, weekend boot camps, Forex masterclasses, you know, I've done it, none of it worked. I can honestly say, hand on heart, what Zaheer is going to show you is the way to make money from trading. And I mean that. And I will never ever look anywhere else, because that's it, I found it. And I thank you, Zaheer, for showing me that. And it's taken 6 months to get you speaking here, but I feel the time's right. We've got lots of people in the room who are really keen to understand how to make money from trading. So how to set it up as a business as well. So Zaheer, warm welcome, and over to you.
Yes, it's strange seeing Chris like this, to be honest with you. When I first met him, it was in a pub. It was one of these meet-up groups where people go after work, meet other traders, and they want to share ideas. It's not really how, you know, that's not how you're going to make money in trading. Trading's got a very specific way. Can you guys hear me at the back? Yeah? Okay, a little bit. Okay, project my voice, okay. So, just to get a feel for the room, can I get just an idea of, who's a total beginner here? Who's got absolutely no idea what it's about? Great, okay, fantastic. You guys are a massive advantage, just to let you know. Played around in the markets, dabbled, real money, Demo accounts. Okay, fantastic. So we've got a real mixed bag. Anyone sort of made consistent money from it? Okay, Chris, that's good to hear. Okay, so the truth is that this can be done. It's very, very, very simple. There's just a lot of myths about how it should be done, and that's the route that people are going down, because we have an amazing invention now called the internet. And because of the internet, the whole marketplace is open. We've got a whole number of brokers offering accounts where you can open up without any question, load it up with your life savings and start getting involved. It's the kind of route that most people go down, and it's not the way to do it. There's a very specific approach. Now, the approach of the people that make it work is called trend trading. You guys are probably familiar with day trading, am I right? Yeah. Okay, so day trading is everywhere. Go on the internet, you put in day trading, there's a whole load of information. The reality is it doesn't really work. Okay, day trading works if you've got the funds of a bank. Banks play with billions of pounds. So any small move in the market equates to a lot of money. But a lot of private traders come in with 10, 20, 30, 40 grand. That kind of money requires a different approach. Okay, we need to have a slower approach, longer term, but the rewards are massive. Now, to break down what I mean by trend trading, the first thing we really need to do is define a trend, to understand what a trend is. Now, I know there's 3 people, 1, 2, 3, who've already met me. So, I'm going to ask some questions that you guys are probably already familiar with. So please give everyone a chance to really think about it. So the way to define trend trading is to think of what a trend is. Okay, and the best example is to use fashion. We all like fashion. I'm assuming most of us like fashion. Okay, so, madam, what's your name?
Erica.
Erica, okay, what's your favourite designer label?
Gucci.
Gucci, okay, expensive taste, right? Okay, Gucci, perfect. You go into Gucci and you buy a handbag. Gucci handbag is how much?
Depends on the handbag.
Okay, so a good Gucci handbag, how much are you looking at?
3 grand.
Okay, let's say 3 grand, right? What is the minimum time you would expect your Gucci handbag to stay in fashion? The minimum time you would want your Gucci handbag to stay in fashion. Okay, you can have a quick discussion with your partners, people next to you. Minimum time. A specific
However, a year later, we distribute that in summer. Say you go in summer now, it's summer handbag. Next summer, could you use it?
Okay, let's get some ideas. Sir, what's your name?
My name?
Yeah.
Rino.
Ooh, nice. What?
Rino.
Reno?
Yes.
Okay, give me an answer. Minimum time. I'm sure it won't be a Gucci handbag, but,
Sorry, I speak a little bit English. I understand, but I don't speak a lot of.
Okay. I used to be an English teacher, so maybe
Yes. I know the subject, and I stay just because I know the subject.
Okay, all right, let me move on.
Another, yes.
Sorry, you're eating. Okay, let's go here. Minimum time, Gucci handbag.
3 to 6 months.
Okay, 3 to 6 months. Any more, any less?
About a year.
More.
A lot longer.
A year?
A year for 3 grand.
3 grand? More?
A lot more than that.
Okay.
It's quality. So.
Okay. I get the idea. It's basically what we want it to be, because we spend so much money, right? But in terms of how fashion is dictated to us, it's dictated to us per season. Fashion is seasonal. Yeah? So every season the colours change, the designs change. Of course, when you spend so much money on an item of clothing or a handbag, 10 years later, if that's still in good condition, you'll still use it, right? But the point is, it's a minimum of 3 months. Now, if you paid 3 grand for that bag, by the time you came out of the shop, it's out of fashion. How would you feel? Right, exactly. This is what trading's about. That same philosophy you guys have to apply to an investment. If you enter an investment and you've got 3 grand on risk, and an hour later that 3 grand's gone. That's what most people are doing because they're risking large amounts of money on small moves and they want to get quick riches. What you want to do is put that 3 grand into an investment, and while you're getting on with your day-to-day life, going to work, doing whatever you're doing, you want this 3 grand working for you in the background, growing and growing and growing and growing and growing. For weeks to months, not days, not hours to days. So that's what we're looking for. The same idea of fashion trends, we're looking for trends in the market, movements. Okay? So just to solidify the answer, this idea, we're just going to look at some fashion trends, right? The 60s, how long is that as a period?
10 years.
10 years, exactly, it's a long time, right? Yeah, bubble, my generation grew up on this, right? We were the first people that had the Nike Air Max. What was that, like 90s? People are still wearing it today, they're coming back, right? It never really goes out of fashion. He's always at the forefront, right? Creating something. When he did the Mohawk in the World Cup, are people still doing it today? Right, long term. Women are on it now, looking good. Okay, we've got our good old hipsters with their beards. Okay, so the same thing can be applied to trading. Okay, and it doesn't matter. Now I'll put FX here, but it can apply to any market in any country in the world. The most liquid, foreign exchange and US stocks. Okay, but you can throw in UK stocks, you can throw in commodities as well. But if there's 2 markets that you really want to focus on, it's foreign exchange and US stocks. Okay, so if you look at this chart is a monthly chart. You can't see it too well, but it says M there. So each of these candlesticks are being produced per month. Now, what is a candlestick? Basically, a candlestick represents whether there's been buying or selling at any period of time. If it's a red candlestick, there's been a lot of selling. If it's a green candlestick, there's been a lot of buying. Okay. Now, if you look in this direction from here to here, what color can you predominantly see? Red. But you can see bits of green. The point is the market is going down. That's a trend. Okay, and this trend was from 2005 all the way down to 2008. That's 3 years. Okay, then we had a correction in the market. This is when the market corrects. That's a natural rhythm, and then it went down again. This was from 2009 to 2011. This is the Singapore, this is the US dollar against the Singapore dollar. Okay, we've got another trend. This is the euro against the Aussie dollar. We've got another trend. This is the Aussie dollar against the New Zealand dollar. Remember, these are monthly charts. So if you enter where the top of that red arrow starts, you hold it all the way down. That's about a year of holding a trade. Okay, we've got the dollar against the Japanese yen, the euro dollar, and now we're looking into stocks as well. This is the stock of the Marriott. This was one of my best performing trades of last year. This is Kroger Co. I don't know if you guys are familiar. Do you know KR? Do you know Kroger Co? Yes or no? Doesn't matter.
Which time frame is it?
This is the monthly chart. All of these are monthly charts.
Monthly.
Every chart here is the monthly chart. Most people are looking at the 1 hour, the 5 minute, the 15, because they want to get in, get out, get rich.
No, daily, no?
We're coming to that. We're coming to that, yeah. But we're looking at the monthly chart for the bigger picture. This is the message that I want to get across. We're looking at the bigger picture here. Okay? Kroger Co. it's like a grocery store in America, similar to Lidl. Doesn't matter. The point is the chart told me this is a good stock. Okay, come to the benefits of trading. Right, so I'm going to switch. Normally I'm used to like a high thing, so I'm going to keep on bending over, so please bear with me. Okay, so we're going to move to my software. Now, usually this software looks quite scary to most people, but it's very simple. Okay, like most things, it's just understanding. Do you remember the first time you got into a car? you had the clutch, you had the gear stick, you had the steering wheel, you had all of these different elements that you had to master. Now you do it without thinking. It's the same thing with this. It's just basic stuff that you just need to understand. It's just knowledge. Okay, so top left corner, that is my currency watch list. So those are all the currencies that I look at day to day. Notice that it's quite a big watch list. A lot of people tend to look at one thing like gold or the euro dollar. They all have a favorite thing that they like to trade. How long should something be your favorite thing, your favorite instrument? How long should you have an attachment to it for? Thank you, spot on. As long as it's making money. As soon as it stops giving you money, what do? You move on. So that's why you need to have a big watch list, because these trends, and this is the thing that people need to understand, these trends move from currency to currency and market to market. That's because the market makers, the big dogs, the hedge funds, the institutions, the one that move the market, they don't stay on one currency or one instrument for 365 days in the year. They stay in one place for 3 months, 4 months, then they move somewhere else. If you've got good software, it will tell you where the money is and you follow them. That's what we have to do. What most people are trying to do is to trade like the hedge funds. We don't trade like the hedge funds. We get them to move the market, we jump on their back, we piggyback the right. They're doing all the work for us. Okay, this should answer your question, sir. Top right corner, I have the monthly chart. Bottom left corner, I have the weekly chart. Bottom right corner, I have the daily chart. So I'm looking at 3 time frames. The monthly chart tells me where the major areas of support and resistance are. So what do I mean by support and resistance? Support and resistance, think of it as a floor and a ceiling. Okay, if price action is directly underneath this floor, the floor is actually acting as a ceiling. If it breaks the ceiling becomes a floor. Where is price action going to go to next? The next ceiling. If it breaks that ceiling, it's going to go to the next ceiling. What you need to understand as traders, what on the chart makes up these areas of support and resistance. Okay, if you're looking at a lower time frame, if you're looking at a 1 hour time frame or 5 minute time frame, you see these candlesticks? Think about it. On a daily chart, you've got 1 candle. If you're looking at a 1 hour chart, how many candles are you looking at? If you take a daily chart, how many 1 hour candles make a daily chart? 24. So you're looking at 24 candles if you go down to the 1 hour time frame. So a lot more candles and a lot more movement. That means a lot more support and resistance levels. Is that clear? Yeah. Right, okay, so we need to have a bigger picture. Okay, the way to do this is to have a tool which does it for you. Okay, so the software, based on the logic, is already telling me where these areas of support and resistance are. So as the trend develops, as price action develops, those red and green lines will automatically be plotted by the software. What most private traders are doing is sitting at home doing it manually, spending hours a day doing it manually, when I've got software that does it for me. In addition, I've got the peak levels. Can you guys see those peak levels? Okay, what the peak levels represent is the highest price of last year and the lowest price of last year. Why is that significant? Because if the highest price and the lowest price are very close together, that means there was no movement. If the highest price and the lowest price are far apart, that means there was a good trend. This is very, very significant because what happened last year is a very good indication of what could happen this year. Now, just to show you the power of the software, if I go into the back end of the software and if I click on this button, it will immediately plot all the areas of support and resistance going back to however far I want it to. Most people, if they want this, will draw it manually, try and look at the levels, figure it out. It takes hours. Trading is all about working smart. It's not about working hard. Okay? So you want the software to take the manual labor out of everyday trading. Okay. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay. Now beyond that, can you see when it broke this green line, support became resistance. Okay. The floor became the ceiling. When it came down, we then need to know what is the next floor. In trading terms, we call these round numbers. Round numbers are every 1,000 pips. Now, are you guys familiar with a pip? No. Okay. So you see the price when price changes? Price changes in pips, it's the increment. So in weight, it could be kilograms. In trading terms, we move in pips. Now a pip can equate to 10p, or it can equate to thousands of pounds, depending on your account size and depending on the broker that you're using. So because, say for example, if you're trading with £10 a pip and price moves 10 pips in 1 minute, how much have you made? £100? Okay, see, this is the allure of trading. Because you can make a lot of money in a very short period of time, people are day trading. Okay, but it's not that easy. That is why 95% of the trading will actually blow their accounts. And it's not down to ability, not down to knowledge, it's just down to, it's not down to ability, it's just down to a lack of knowledge, that's all it is. People wanting to get out of the system. It takes time. So, now that we're below 0.80, you can see that price action, this green candle, it's trading below 0.80. Where is it likely to go to next? Answer, 0.70. And then 0.60. If you look at past price action, has it been this low? Right, so this is what we call technical analysis. Technical analysis is looking at the past, looking at the history, and trying to assume, not predict, trying to assume what could happen next. Never predict, you have to let price actually make its move. But patterns repeat. If price has been that low, there's a very good chance it can happen again. Okay. Is that clear? Okay. We're now going to go to the weekly time frame, and I'm going to start with this chart. So this is what is called a naked candlestick chart, because all you can see on there are candlesticks. But what we need is something that gives us the edge. Something that gives us clear areas of bullish and bearish trend. Okay, bullish is when the market's going up, bearish is when the market's going down. Okay, I'm sure you guys have heard of a bull market. Okay, why do they call it a bull and a bear market? Any ideas? I'd be surprised if anyone in the city probably knows it. Not many people do. Take a guess.
It's to do with the bull on Wall Street or something.
Okay, yeah, but the bull on Wall Street came after the bull market. Okay, when a bull attacks, it attacks up with its horns, and when a bear attacks, it attacks down with its paws. That's it. Okay, so it's the same. That's it. Okay, so what we're looking for is something to give us a bull market and a bear market. Right, I'm going to move to this next screen, and it's the same chart. You can see it's the same chart. Okay, now notice this area here. This area that we're looking at is made up of red bars and then these little breather areas called green bars, right? So we've got the bearish bars and the bullish bars, yeah? But if you look at the next page, what do I have? Just red. Because I have a trend filter on top of those bars that's just giving me a single direction. I don't care about these little areas because I know that they're going to happen. What I want is a trend filter to mask that noise out and tell me that the trend is still going down. So in this period here, what are most people doing? Yeah, they're closing their positions because they're thinking, wow, I'm making money, the market's going against me. Because they don't understand the natural rhythm to price action. Price will never go in one direction or the other. It has to move, then it has to breathe. Move, breathe. So in these breather areas, we need a filter that covers that out, that blocks out that noise. So we've got a trend filter that does that. Is that clear? Yeah. Right, okay, now you see that black line? Yeah. That black line is a moving average. There's a mathematical formula that goes into this that calculates that moving average over 200 days. So it calculates the average price over 200 days, plots this line. Now how institutions use this is that it gives them that bias. So if price is above, it's a bull market, and when price is below, it's a bear market. So if we're above that black line, what do we want to do? We want to buy because the market's going to go up. If it's below that black line, what do we want to do? Sell. Okay, now at this point, I'm going to just make sure that people understand the concept of selling. Because I'm sure there's a few people going, how do you make money selling? Yeah? Okay, so imagine we're mates and I'm going on holiday and you take me to the airport in my Mercedes SLS. Okay? When I've gone, I give you my Mercedes SLS. The first thing you guys do is take it to a showroom and you sell it for £100,000. I come back 3 months later and I want my car back. What do you guys do? You go back to that dealer because the car's still there, but what's happened to the value of the car? Right, it's depreciated. It's now worth £80,000. What do you do? Right, you buy it, and how much have you pocketed? Right, that's the concept of short selling. You're effectively borrowing an entity off a broker and then returning it once you've made your money. Okay, so with that black line tells us if price is above, we want to buy, and if price is below, we want to sell. Now, if price is below, what color do we want the trend filter? Red. Can you see we've got areas of green? What do we do? Nothing. We hold or we stand aside. Okay, we don't trade this because we don't have elements that have lined up. What we want is we want the market to line up. Remember, what we're looking for is what is called an edge. We're looking for an area where we have more chance of making money than losing money. Agreed?
Yeah.
Yeah, because nothing is guaranteed in trading. The only thing that is certain is the uncertainty of the future. Okay? So what makes a good trade? What makes a good trade? A good trade is one where you follow your trading plan 100% regardless of the outcome. If you broke your rules and you made a lot of money, is that a good trade?
No.
No, you got lucky. But if you followed your rules 100% and you lost, that's still a good trade. The key is not to lose all your money. The key is to lose no more than 2%. Okay, we've got that same logic on the daily time frame. We've got that black line and we've got the trend filter. You can see the red trend filter? You can see where it changes to green here. Okay, so what are we looking for? What we're looking for is areas of support and resistance on the monthly chart. And then on the weekly and daily, we're looking for price to be above the black lines or below the black lines. If above both the black lines, what color do we want the trend filter? Green. If below, red. Welcome to trading. It's as simple as that.
How do you choose the point to enter?
Okay, that's a good question. Entry points are all based on what we call breakouts or pullbacks. Okay, so let me give you a good example. All right, let's go to the euro dollar. Okay, so the euro dollar, if you noticed, it found what we call an area of resistance at around number 1.40. So something that you guys have to get familiar with, and again, this just comes with time and practice, is knowing what's a round number, because every scale is different. The way currencies are exchanged, every scale is different. If you go to Japan, do you know how much 50p is in Japan? It's about 100 yen. So it's a different scale. Okay, so the scale on the right-hand side reflects the exchange. Okay, so if you look here, if you look at the highest point on this chart, the highest point correlates to a round number, which is 1.6. These two peaks here correlate to 1.5, so you can see how significant round numbers are. When price found resistance at 1.4, where did we want it to go to? 1.3, and then below 1.3, and then, right, and has price come back? 1.4, 1.3, 1.2, and now it's at 1.1. Okay, so that's the monthly. So when price started finding resistance and heading down, I then went to the weekly and the daily to find an entry point. Now here is that 1.4, here is that 1.4 resistance. What color is the trend filter? Are we above or below the black line? Right, so is this a time to be selling?
No.
No. Trend comes down, trend comes down. Now if you notice, it starts turning red above the black line. Do we start selling here? No, because we need to wait till the black line's broken. Now notice, this is patience. All of these are weekly charts, so I'm waiting quite a while. But while this is setting up, what am I doing? Thank you. I've already got trades running somewhere else that's already paying me because I'm waiting for this to set up. Now, when it breaks this black line, it's very close to 1.3. 1.3 we said were areas of support and resistance. So when it breaks that black line, it was going to come to 1.3. There was a good chance it would bounce back up. So I had to wait till it broke 1.3. When it broke 1.3, what did I start doing? Started selling because the market's going down. And you can see that when I entered in 1.3, this was September. By the time I exited, it was in April. If we go to the daily chart, yeah, exactly, 7 months. If you go to the daily chart, we broke below the black line around 1.36, but we still needed to wait for 1.3 to be broken. This is where we entered around this level here. By the time I exited, it was here. Notice what color is my trend filter by the time I exited? Green. So what did I do until my trend filter took me out? Right, I held. So what does that mean? What that means is I do nothing. I've entered my risk in September, and all I've been doing is holding and holding and holding and holding. Am I working for this money?
No.
See, this is the thing, like when people are sitting in front of their computer, like day trading, what they've done is they've tried to turn trading into a 9 to 5. So I hear it all the time, I speak to people all the time, what do you do? I'm a full-time trader. How long have you been trading? About 3 weeks. They've quit their jobs. This is serious. It's like, it is funny, it's stupid, it's ridiculous, but this is what a lot of people are doing. If you look at, sorry, the question. Go on, man. What's your name?
Coral.
Coral. Yeah.
Would you put any pending orders or stop losses?
Definitely. Stop losses are all part and parcel of trading. The key is to have a wide stop loss. Okay, give you a scenario. Okay, we're sitting in a pub, and I tell you guys, you know what? The iPhone 6 Plus, it's done wonders for the Apple stock. You guys should go and buy it. So you've got 20 grand, you know nothing about investing or trading. What do you go and do with your 20 grand? Thank you. Go and put the whole thing on Apple stock. What does it do for the next week? It tanks. You want it to go up, but it tanks. Unlucky, right? But the thing is, the stock isn't tanking. It's just that, remember we had those breather areas?
Yeah.
It doesn't go in a straight line. You've entered at the wrong time. And in that moment where it's correcting, you've lost the 20 grand. Okay? This is what happens. This is that typical scenario where people put all their eggs in one basket. What would I do? After I've done that, what would I do?
Wait.
Okay, I'd wait, and I'd wait for everything to line up because I've got my software, and I'm waiting for the weekly and the daily to all be in alignment. I'm waiting for my green trend filters. But in terms of money, how much of that would I risk on Apple? I've already, no way. Someone said 10%? No, I already gave the answer before.
2%.
Thank you, 2%. 2%. Okay, now I take 2%, I put it on Apple. I take
Percent of which amount?
of my 20
20
grand, right? I take 2% of my 20 grand and I put it on Apple. I take 2% of my 20 grand and I put it on Yahoo, some on Twitter. I never exposed the whole 20 grand. I only exposed 10%. Now I've got 5 trades open, each risking me 2%. Each of them have a stop loss. So what that means is that if it enters at a certain level and it goes against me, I want my broker to take me out. Between my entry and my stop loss, I want to risk no more than 2%. Is that clear? Yeah. Okay, now let's say I've got 5 investments in place, each of them risking 2%. 2 of them are losing trades. So how much am I down? 4%. 1 of them is break even. What have I made? Nothing. I haven't lost, I haven't made anything. The next 2 go on to return me 20% each over the next 3 months. How much have I made? 30? 36%. 40 minus 4? That's investing. What you do is you spread your risk across many setups and you hold your positions and let them grow. Between September and April, in that time that you see the euro dollar, traders in our community have made between 90 to 110%. This is tax-free because it comes under spread betting, and they've done it in about 15 to 20 minutes a day. Because remember, we're looking at the monthly, the weekly, and the daily time frame. That's the bigger picture. So what you do is you look at your trades in the morning, make sure everything's in place. You go to work, if you've got children, you do whatever you have to do. And then in the evening, at 10 o'clock, when the new bar opens, you reassess the situation. Now, it usually takes between 2 to 3 years to build enough money for you to then quit your job. If your goal is to quit your 9-to-5 job, the reality is that it takes between 2 to 3 years. The first 6 months to a year to nail it. Now remember, these guys who made 90 to 110%, most of them started last year. Chris started beginning of last year, right? Chris, beginning of last year, yeah? Okay, let me give you a scenario. Last year was a very strange year because I was saying before that people try to turn trading into a 9-to-5, so they're targeting a certain number of pips every day or every week. It's not how money is made. Money is made in periods. Usually you have 2 periods of these movements called trends. Last year, we had no trends in the foreign exchange market between January and September. It was dead. Now, day traders will tell you differently. Of course, they won't tell you about how much they've lost, but they've been in the market. Because there's misconception that to be a trader, you have to be pulling trades every day. It's not how, trading is not a 9-to-5. It's not how we make money in a job. Go to work, get paid end of the month. It's not how money's made in trading. You make money in periods. So between January and September, how much money did we make in foreign exchange? Nothing. But stock traders made a lot of money because we left foreign exchange and we started trading stocks. You saw Marriott? Okay, so people who aren't really clued up, who focus just on foreign exchange, are missing out on much better opportunities in stocks at that period of time. Now in September, these moves started happening. Between September and April, a lot of the traders, these long-term traders, made between 90 to 110%. So they waited 9 months in this market to make 100%. Would you do that? Right, that's how investing is made. That's how money in investing is done. It's not done like most people think. Yeah, go on. What's your name? Sorry.
Benson.
Benson. Yeah, go on, Benson.
That 90 to 110%.
Yeah.
That's off the 2%. So that means the 2% that you put down.
Okay, it wasn't just one investment that returned 110%. Remember, we spread. Yeah. So the ones that ended up becoming winning investments, they're the ones with a combined total made 110%. So the euro dollar on its own returned a lot of people 55% on its own. We then had 2 or 3 other investments in place, trades in place, that all added up to between 90 to 110%. Now, if one trend can return you that much money, how many trends do we need a year to have a good year? Well, the answer is 1, right? What is a bank giving you? Bank's giving you nothing, it's a joke. This is what the banks are doing, and they're giving you 1%. So this removes the banking system. We show you what the banks are doing with your money. We remove that whole system, and we give you control of it. Okay, so it's your little 2% that are going to work for you. Okay, I think we've got about 5 minutes left. Are there any other? That's trading, guys. So let me just go back to my my PowerPoint. I hate PowerPoint, but sometimes you have to use it. Right. Benefits of trend trading. This is something. If you guys are entrepreneurs, as you know, Chris likes to say, you know, this is something that has to be part of your portfolio. If you're into property, whatever, this is something that has to be part of a portfolio or whatever you're doing. It doesn't have. It can be the only part of your portfolio because you've got foreign exchange, you've got stocks, you've got commodities. I'm not really a property guy. I own property, but I'm not interested in going and flipping properties. Like, it's not what I'm into. This makes up the bulk of my 9 to 5, if you like. Okay, what are the benefits? Consistent growth in your trading account. You start with 20 grand and every year you're getting between 90 to 110%. Your first year maybe you'll get 20%, 30%, you're learning, okay, but once you get it and you're consistently getting between 90 to 100%, if you start with 20 grand, next year 40, next year 80, next year 160, next year 320, can you see where this is going? But it's taken years. Most people want to do that in 6 months. So if you start now, Warren Buffett, he said that he feels sorry for people who start saving money just before retirement. Because that compound growth that you need has to start now, it has to start early. I started when I was 27, I'm 36 now. Less time per day. Day trading takes hours. So you see a lot of people on their phone. I've done presentations where my guys, or who I think Chris was at one, when the guy in front of him was looking at his broker app every 2 minutes, and Chris could see his trades going up and down. This guy was sweating.
It was about £2.50 that he was up.
Yeah. Well, you know, I don't know. I mean, for some people it's the rush. For me, it's about making money. It's not about the rush. Adaptable around your lifestyle. Are most of you guys working? Yeah, I get that most of you guys are professionals and you're working. You know, my background, by the way, I should really tell you about myself. I haven't even told you. I've got a degree in software engineering. Didn't work because I hated it. I became a TEFL teacher, so I lived in Japan, Taiwan, Thailand. I came back after 2 years, became a photographer. I was a photographer for 5 years. In IT, my passion, I guess, was being sacrificed. I had no passion in IT. In teaching, it's great. You travel, you meet lots of people, lovely people, but there's no money. In photography, the money's good, other bits are good, there's lots of good bits to photography. But it becomes a job after a while. Once you've seen them all, right? You know what I mean? Okay. The point is, I was working long hours, long hours, like 15, 16 hours a day. It's stupid, it's not all fun and games. Something's always being sacrificed, always. I don't see why that had to be. The other thing is, people always tell you, nah, it can't be done. If someone says that to me, I go and prove it that it can be done. That's the kind of character I am. I'm not saying that you guys have to go down that route, but that's the way I am. So my dad, I would never have told him I got involved in this. I told him after I got it, after working for me, and I said, Dad, you know what, you don't need to go to work anymore. That was one of my goals. It took me 5 years for me to eventually tell him that, look, I can do this. So it takes time, but if you've got a focus, you can make it work.
How did you get into this?
Okay, good question. Like Chris, I did a bogus course. A lot of sharks in the industry, right? Paid 5 grand for a course. This was back in 2007. But luckily, I happened to sit next to Javid, who's my mentor. So even though, you know, Chris at the beginning, you know, he very kindly said to me, you know, it's because of me. The reality is because of my mentor. My mentor gave me a lot of information, a lot of knowledge that I'm now able to pass on. I think mentoring is essential, especially in something like this. A lot of people think they can do something. I didn't have the time to try and figure this out on my own. I was a photographer. I just needed someone to show me how it works so I could get on with it and make money. Yeah, and so my mentor, who I met at, you know, just happened to come. Wrong place, right time. You've got to put yourself out there. I paid 5 grand to find my mentor. It was worth it. Yeah. Emphasis on capital protection. Most people, this is going back to what we were saying earlier, most people are focusing on the profit. That's why they blow account after account after account. The smart investors focus on protecting what they have. If I spent the last 10, 15 years of my life saving up 40 grand, there's no way I want to lose that. So emphasis on capital protection because profits take care of themselves. The future's uncertain, we don't know what's going to happen. Larger profits through compounding. Warren Buffett is worth $80 billion. He's 80 years old. Before he turned 50, how much was he worth?
50 billion.
50 billion?
A couple of million.
A little bit more, Reese. 300 million. Okay? 300 million. Now, okay, that's a shed load of money, but the point is 300 million from 50 to 80 billion at 80. That's not done with a straight line investment chart. It's done with compound growth. That doesn't happen with day trading. You're in and out, you make some money, you lose some money. There's no consistency, there's no growth. Initial low risk, 2%. So no stress, no worry, oh my God, I've got 10%, 50% on a trade, what's happening? Oh, I'm in negative. None of that, it's 2%. If you lose, who cares? Because it's only 2%. Finally, it's a lifestyle. It's empowerment of your money and time. Now, it takes 30 minutes a day to do this. So you're working 9 to 5 and you have this working for you 30 minutes a day. 3 years later, you quit your job. You're still working 30 minutes a day. That time element doesn't change. Day trading won't give you this. And I always put this at the end. It's not a get rich quick scheme or a 9 to 5. It's a business. It's a business. What does it mean? It needs investment. It needs training. It needs software. It needs time. It needs investment. The reality is you need between 6 to 10 grand to get started. That's a good pot. Most people will believe otherwise or tell you otherwise, but you need between 6 to 10 grand to get started. Okay.
Just some questions quickly for Zaheer, if we've got any.
Yeah, go on, Sil.
Yes, with like elections in certain countries coming up, I've noticed when that, before that happens, I watch the money rise.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a trend that's happened in a lot of countries at that time, I guess?
Like what time? What time in the year?
Before the elections.
Oh, before the election. Yeah, I mean, there's certain patterns that repeat. So, for example, usually before the UK election, the market may go up. But if the long-term trend is down, that will only be a short-term move before a continuation. We don't need to get bogged down in fundamentals. Why? Because the big dogs, the hedge funds, they get it before us. They pay thousands of pounds for Bloomberg Terminal. They get all that news before us. So we're seeing it factored into price. So let them look at the fundamental. Who wants to look at Financial Times every day? You want to do that? No. Go on, sir.
You've got a trend filter
Yes,
that takes small positives. What is the trend filter doing mathematically to turn your small green things red?
That we'll have to talk about after. That's all part of the training. I mean, the point is, it's a very simple thing on moving averages. Okay?
Based on what you just said, it's you say software, like your automated software basically to work out the structure.
The software this software has been developed by actually my mentor. That's the thing, when I started, I wanted something that just worked. But the thing about my mentor is that he had a product that didn't work. He had a product that worked that people couldn't find. If it wasn't for me, people like Chris wouldn't be doing this. So I've taken the product and I'm making it available to people who want to learn how to trade. Okay, so it's been developed in-house and it's unique. It's unique to our community. No one else in the world has this.
Okay. Oh, one last question. I know it's late.
Did you say it took you 3 years to become proficient?
No, it took me 6 months to a year to nail it.
Yeah.
But it took me 4 years to be able to quit all my jobs. All my jobs. Photographer, English teacher, and tutor. I was working 3 jobs because I wanted as much money in my trading account as I could. I grafted, and I don't usually tell a lot of people this, but I borrowed a lot of money from the bank.
To come up, sorry, get in there. To come up with a 10 grand plot.
No, I already had that, so that I could accelerate the compound growth process. 2007, you could go into a bank and say, I want 20 grand, I'm building a house. I didn't have a house, I lived with my parents. But they throw money at you. So I took advantage of that. Last question?
Did you lose money with this?
In almost 8 years of trading, no, more than 8 years of trading now, I've never blown an account.
Okay, you never blown an account, but you mean like, have you lost money?
I've never blown an account. Losers, as I said, remember when you have that 10% thing, you have winning trades, losing trades. Losing trades are part and parcel. I've never blown an account.
Software and training.
Yeah, makes sense?
Okay, great. Please stay 2 more minutes. I've got something really important to tell you, but round of applause. Vicky will be here for some questions. We're going to wrap it up in 1 minute. Thanks, Zaheer. That was brilliant. Appreciate that. Okay, if you have any questions, I keep forgetting. It's fine. So one final slide.
To see somebody online. See the face-to-face. You get a feel for what they're saying, whether
So I've told you about
just selling something.
What
There's a lot of things out there just trying to sell a thing. That is the thing.
The summer sizzler. Yeah. So in August, I know it's kind of holiday season. Hopefully it will be kind of good weather here. But I thought it'd be really nice that we actually just have a party. Yeah, because we've worked hard, we've learned lots, and the community's great, and we're really building some good relationships. And I keep stressing this point, but it's where the opportunities come, it's where the money will come eventually. So we're going to have some fun. I put rooftop drinks and barbecue because that's the vision I've got. I haven't booked it, I don't know where it's going to be. I'm going to put it out there, yeah? We'll find it, yeah? So let's do that. Let's get some pimping venue in London where we can all feel like entrepreneurs.
Penthouse in Manchester.
Yeah, all back to mine afterwards, yeah. So anyway, that's going to come up in August, so we won't be having like a normal get together in August. We'll do the social thing, we'll have lots of fun for that. So next month, the guest speaker is to be confirmed, but it's going to be a good one. So keep online. And finally, we thank you to our cameraman Jason, and also. Yeah, if you had a good time tonight, I'd really appreciate if you could just give Jason a couple of minutes of your time, just a testimonial, just say it was great, I learned this, and I met so and so, and it's really good for helping me to promote the group, to get more people together, so that as a collective we can escape the rat race faster. Okay, so thanks for coming tonight, and Vicky's here, Zaheer's here, make the most of these guys whilst they're here. Thanks, see you next month.